Hi, in this video we're going to be looking at some behavioural approaches to help your child develop good sleep habits, fall asleep quickly at night and stay asleep for the duration. Let's start by thinking about how we sleep. During the night when we are asleep, we are moving through different sleep cycles through different stages of sleep. Each cycle takes approximately 1 to 1.5 hours, or slightly less for a child, approximately 45 minutes to an hour. Each cycle takes us from being momentarily awake, falling into a lighter REM sleep, and then into a deeper sleep from which it's hard to wake up from. It's important that we have elements of all of the different stages of sleep. During REM sleep, we are dreaming and processing our thoughts, whereas in the deeper sleeps, our bodies are healing, recovering, and growing. If we think about our children during the night, it's perfectly normal for children to have periods of very light sleep or to wake frequently as they move through the different sleep cycles. It's very important, therefore, that the children are able to settle themselves back to sleep from these periods of wakening. Let's have a think about daytime naps. For very young children, daytime naps are very important. Children who are sleep deprived will find it much harder to settle to sleep at night and will actually sleep for less time during the night as well. Try to get your child to nap in their cot or their bed so that they become used to associating sleep with a particular place and space. Space the time out between their naps. If they're having a morning and an afternoon nap, make sure there is a good period of time between the two naps. For children, as we've just discussed, a sleep cycle lasts for around 45 minutes. So for your child to get the full benefit of a nap, they should be encouraged to sleep for at least one full sleep cycle. There are some foods which are thought to help children produce the melatonin needed to fall asleep quickly and to stay asleep at night. The research is limited in this area, but some of these items may be worth a try. Almonds. They're thought to contain magnesium, which may aid muscle relaxation and help children to feel calm at night. Again, bananas contain magnesium. They also contain potassium, both of which can aid muscle relaxation. Dairy products, including cheese and milk and yogurt, are also thought to help children settle to sleep quicker at night. Porridge and oats are known to keep tummies full and stop children waking for food during the night. And some recent evidence says that cherries help to naturally boost the body's supply of melatonin. Now, cherries are quite expensive and not all children like them. Cherry juice would be a good alternative. There are also some food products which it's worth avoiding. Anything that contains caffeine, chocolate, sugar, fizzy drinks or cordials, particularly blackcurrant, as these can have an effect of stopping your child falling to sleep quickly. Before considering a behavioural approach to sleep with your child, it's worth just running through a checklist and making sure that there is nothing obvious that is stopping your child from either falling asleep or staying asleep for the duration of the night. Check that they're not hungry or thirsty. Check that they're not ill or in pain. This may include teething or growing pains. Check that your child is not wet or soiled during the night. Consider whether or not they are too tired to settle themselves to sleep and whether or not they are having adequate naps. You will also want to consider whether or not your child can fall asleep on their own, or whether or not during those periods of wakening in the night, they are looking for reassurance and support to get back to sleep. In the bedroom, check that the temperature is not too hot or too cold for your child, and that your child feels comfortable. This may include thinking about the material of their pyjamas or the weight of the cover that's on top of them, particularly for children with sensory processing difficulties who may find some clothing and blankets itchy or uncomfortable. Make sure the room is dark and, if possible, use blackout blinds, quiet and free from distractions. For some children, this may mean taking their toys out of the room at bedtime so that they are not distracted by them. Okay, so thinking about a behavioural approach to sleep. It's really important to encourage your child to be able to self-settle themselves. In order to do this, they need to be put into their cot while they are still awake. They may be drowsy and on the verge of falling asleep, but they need to still be awake so that they are able to develop that skill of settling themselves. Say goodnight and then leave the room. Withdraw eye contact once you've said goodnight. Consider using a set phrase such as, "It's night time, go to sleep," or "Good night, go to sleep," and use this in response to any requests or attempts to talk to you or ask for a drink or a snack. This way the child will know that it is bedtime and that it is time to fall asleep. Stick to a good bedtime routine so that your child knows what's coming. We'll have a think about bedtime routines in a moment. Avoid any stimulating activities before bed, e.g. computer games. It's also important to avoid exercise in the run-up to bedtime. Although activities like jumping on a trampoline, going for a walk, or rough and tumble in the front room may seem to tire your child out, they can actually have the opposite effect and can be overstimulating and stop children being ready to settle to sleep. If you're already in the habit of staying with your child until they fall asleep, don't worry, it is still possible to encourage self-settling. You could try gradually withdrawing from their room. Perhaps start, say, a metre away from them for a few nights until they are able to settle, then move further away for the next few nights until they are able to settle there. Repeat this process until you are outside of their room and they are self-settling without you there. For many children, even those children who are able to settle themselves at the beginning of the night, they have trouble with getting back to sleep when they awaken in the night. As a family, you need to decide what is an acceptable time for starting your day. Any time your child wakes prior to this should then be treated as a night wakening. If your child does wake at night, return them to their cot or their bed. Try not to give them eye contact or engage in conversation. Keep the lights dim so that they know it is still night time. You could repeat your set phrase from bedtime, "It's night time, go to sleep." If your child is waking for feeds, they seem ill or uncomfortable, I would seek medical advice from your health visitor or GP. Let's have a think now about sleep associations. Sleep associations refer to any conditions that your child learns to need in order to fall asleep at bedtime. These same sleep associations are then needed in order to fall back to sleep during the night. When your child awakes in the night, they might find it difficult to get back to sleep without this association. And you need to consider this when establishing a bedtime routine. For example, if your child goes to sleep with a piece of music playing or a mobile to watch, and they wake up in the night naturally during their sleep cycles and the music or the mobile is not there, they may not be able to self-settle themselves without it. Examples of sleep associations include mobiles, light projectors and lullabies. It may also include physical touch, rocking, patting or cuddling your child until they fall asleep. It can also include dummies, pacifiers or bottles of milk. Okay, let's think about establishing a good bedtime routine. Bedtime routines should start approximately an hour before you want your child to be in bed. So decide on a bedtime and work backwards from there. A good bedtime routine might include quiet activities such as listening to some calm music, sharing stories together, having a massage, a bath, or engaging in some quiet activities such as jigsaws or colouring in. Try to be consistent with the length of time spent on the activities and the order in which the activities take place so that your child knows what to expect and knows that this will be leading up to bedtime. Once your child is in their room or upstairs, for example for a story, they shouldn't go back to the living room downstairs. It's worth considering a bedtime routine in light of your own child's needs. For example, for some children, a bath could be too stimulating and not an adequate thing to put in a bedtime routine. In this video, we've just touched on some of the behavioural approaches to sleep, and I hope it's given you a few ideas to try at home. If you need any further support, the Leeds MenCat Family Support Team would be more than happy to help talk things through with you. The Sleep Charity have some great resources and a helpline if you want more information or some support for your family. Scope run a course called Sleep Right, to which you can self-refer, and they also have lots of resources on their website. If you are really struggling with your child's sleep, speak to your GP, health visitor, or other health professionals involved in your care as well. Thank you for listening.